Okay. And so welcome to this presentation. Very happy to see so many of you. We had around 200 already in the Icelandic version at 6 o'clock, and we're happy to see so many of you now. Our school, I'm going to close the door. Our school is a big school. We teach very many subjects. There's no other school at our level that teaches as many subjects as are done in our school. Jónadís, will you let the ones in that are coming? Admit them in, or Þórdís? Það að hleypa þeim inn, Þórdís?
Ég sé engan bíða, byrju.
Já, ég að því.
Þú ert það, okay. But we split this kind of, it's just a picture that gives you a little bit of insight into the various subjects we teach, but we split the school into 7 parts. You can see me, I'm the principal, and Guðrún Randalín, who's on the right, on the top, who's the assistant principal, and then we have a head for every sub-school. So you will have a person or your children who is a bit closer and knows more about their subjects than maybe me and Guðrún do. We have the School of Building Technology. Gunnar is the head there. That's where they teach, I'm going from left to right, all subjects that have something to do with building a house, except for the electricity. Then we have the School of Design and Handicraft. Sandra Borg heads that school. Then we have the School of Electronics, and there is a C missing, I can see. Valdimar, who has the blue shirt, he is the head of that school. Then you have Jónadís, that I think most of you will know, who heads the School of General Academic Studies. Íslenskubraut, or Icelandic as a foreign language, is taught there. Also K2, and also what we call starfsbraut. Then we have the School of Information Technology. Kristín is the head of that school, where they teach, we have the computer studies there, and photography and other information subjects. Then we have the School of Navigation and Mechanics. Víglundur, who is in the gray picture, heads that school. And then the Technical Academy, which is we'll not talk much about that tonight. But everybody belongs to Tækniskólinn, or the Technical College. This is just how we set it up. We have our values, 3 values that are our core values in Icelandic. Alúð. I have not been able to find a very good English word that encompasses that, but it's basically care or do something. If you do something with alúð, you're doing it well, you're doing it with care, you care about what you're doing, and it's a beautiful old Icelandic word. Another value is framsækni, or progressiveness. We want to be progressive in what we do, seek new methods to teach, and follow the technology. And then a very important value to us is diversity. We last year we had over people from over 40 countries that were studying or in our school. Many of them learning Icelandic, many also learning that have learned Icelandic that are doing other subjects. It's a core value that here everyone is welcome here, regardless of race or nationality, religion, if they're handicapped or whatever. Everybody should feel well at our school and respect each other. We are mainly located in 3 buildings. I'm now sitting on the left on Skólaverðarholt, which is a big building where the Icelandic department is downtown. Then there is the House of Seamen, the pink building, where and then we are also in Hafnarfjörður, what's called Flatahraun. I'm not going to go, you can read about these locations on our website, but we are spread in many houses, but in these 3 houses we have a library, we have a canteen, we have study and work counselors, and etc. I met your children last week where we had like a newcomer reception. I always go over some basic school rules. I always hope that we do not have to enforce them, but the biggest and the main thing is respect for others, other people, for the teachers, for the co-students, also for the building and the furniture and the equipment we use. Of course, all substance use is prohibited. Also, the nicotine patches, which are kind of growing in our society, and it's all banned in the school building and on the school premises. Students are responsible for their own valuables. It's very important to, we are in open schools. People can come in here from the street, but there are lockers in school which they can bring a lock and if they want to store their valuables. The use of smartphone is an endless problem in, I think, the school system in general, and it's up to the teacher if they are allowed for use in the classroom or not. Sometimes they might be a part of the studies, but most often they are best kept in the bag. And you can read everything about this on our school website. If your children are born in 2007 or maybe even 2008, if there is someone that's a year ahead, they will have a class called Hvað. Hvað in Icelandic means what. And it's at 9:20 on Monday mornings. And it's basically the so-called supervisory teachers that meet with groups of students and help them get, can somebody mute all? Help them get acquainted with the school, all our services, make sure that they get to know some other students who are maybe studying with them. And it's kind of our way of helping the students in their first year to get to know everything about school and learn about how the school works, how to seek help, etc. On Monday morning, if you have a child in a Hvað class, you are welcome to come to school. We will have a coffee for you and maybe something to eat. And there you will have a chance to meet the supervisory teachers and other parents and have then the possibility to ask questions, get some more information and get to see where your children are studying. So please, if you have the chance, come to the same classroom as your child goes to a Hvað class on this Monday morning, now after the weekend. In the Icelandic schools, for the younger students, they have to do sports. It's both kind of academic, where you're learning everything about health and etc. in a classroom, a normal classroom, and also doing the sports and moving. All younger students have sports in their timetable. We have some facilities in the building here in Skólavörðuholt and Háteigssvegur, the 2 main buildings in Reykjavík, where they can lift weights and things like that. In Hafnarfjörður, they can go to World Class, which is a gym. But then there are all kinds of other possibilities. They can go out for a walk, they can go out for a run, they can go swimming. They just make an arrangement with their sports teachers. And there's also the possibility to do a contract for sports outside the school. Let's say someone is training soccer 5 times a week, then they can kind of make a contract with a sports teacher. They have to take it to their trainer, and he has to sign it and then confirm on the way and at the end that they have actually been showing up for the soccer practices. But I just encourage you to encourage your children to show up for sports class or find a way to do sports. And we are now starting also to offer special classes, outdoors, badminton, volleyball, swimming, running, and soccer. So yes, that's all about sports. We have a school calendar which you can find on our website for the whole school year. It's, I think, unfortunately only in Icelandic, but if we just look at the main things, we have 2 terms. We have the fall term and the spring term, and for most classes we split the term into 2 parts, which we called spön. And the first part is over on October 18th, and the second part starts on October 19th. And then there is winter break on 30th of October. Instead of maybe having 6 or 7 subjects for the whole term, your kids will be doing maybe 3 to 4 subjects on the first part, and they finish them, they get their grades, and then they start for the second part and get new subjects. So, so when they are halfway through the term, they should be done with half of the thing and starting over with new subjects. School is in the days, like if you see on the calendar, October 16th, 17th, 18th, some will be doing exams on these days, some will be done with everything those days, someone might be coming in because they have been sick or something, but some of the students will not have to show up for these days, and you just have to, they get information from the teacher. And it's the same at the end. The grades will be shown on December 18th. Before the weekend, some might be done 13th, some might be done on the 14th, and some on the 15th. But the last day of school with some sort of attendance, it is not going to be later than the 15th of December. And then we have a very long and good Christmas break. In October, late October, we have the so-called week of choice. And when students are, let's say, well, if they're doing the Icelandic language program, it's fairly well, it's kind of set up pretty much the same. So, and they get guidance from their teachers. If your children are maybe learning to be a carpenter or the computer department or something like that, they have to choose subjects for the next term. They will get help with this from their supervisory teacher. But this is and also if they want to switch departments, let's say someone is learning computer science but has found out that they want to become a carpenter and they want to apply for the carpentry program, it's done in this week in October. But we will give you notice, the students will be given notice too, so that they don't forget to do this. Since we split the term in 2, you have more classes per week in each subject, and it's very important to start working hard right from the beginning. You might notice that your children already have homework to do, assignments to turn in, and it's important to just, when I was in school at this level 30 years ago, I did not do much for the first 2 weeks. Even though I promised myself that I would start very well and work from day 1, I didn't do much until the first exam I had. But I do not advise that, and especially in this system, you're kind of forced to start working hard right from the beginning. This fall, we are starting with student IDs, and you have already should have gotten an email or your students that to make sure that in INNA, which I will talk about in a minute, which is our information system, that there is a photo of the student, not of Pokemon or a gorilla or something. And your students will get an ID to use at school. If they have to print something, they use this card. If they have special access to some classrooms, they will use this card. And they will also identify themselves with the card. So it's important to have a good photo that looks like the student in INNA, but if they don't have one, they can go to the library and get assistance with this. Now I'm gonna go, let's see, yeah. I'll not go much through this. This is mainly in Icelandic, but there's a calendar on the website, both the official school calendar, but also a calendar on the main page where we will put in different things as they come along. So I'll just show you in a little while. There you can also see the menu for the school canteen. It's possible to get hot lunch every day. Unfortunately, in the Icelandic school system, lunch is not for free. I wish it was, but I just wanted to let you know that they can buy a warm and healthy meal. It's also possible to buy sandwiches, but they are more than welcome and encouraged also to bring their own food to school. We have microwaves, we have to warm up, etc. If they want to eat from the canteen, it's possible to buy like a kind of a discount ticket. It's not much cheaper, but some parents choose to provide their child with this kind of a card to get hot meals at school rather than going out to a fast food restaurant or something like that. I'm now going to tell you a little bit about the INNA, the school information system. Those of you who have had children in, I'm going to just go in here, that have children in primary school you probably used Mentor. INNA is the one we use for this school level, and you have to have electronic ID to get into INNA. I'm going to show you. If you do not have an ís-lykill, I usually use that, but I have lots of accesses, but I am not now going to use my daughter's access to show you. I don't think there is any, so you see it like the parents see. I don't think there is any confidential information in here so far, but when you get in here, you can see that there is an English, Icelandic and English button. You can switch to English. A lot of this, like the assignments and things like that, will be in Icelandic, but you can still, it helps a little bit, timetable, new absences, exams, announcements, etc. And some of the things here are in English. The assignments, if they're supposed to turn in, and it should help if you do not speak Icelandic but speak English. It makes it a little bit easier to put it in the English mode. But in INNA, you can follow everything, what classes they're taking, how they're doing, if they have gotten grades back, etc. So please log on and follow and see what is going on. Announcements get in there. We try to send an email also if the announcement is very important. If the child is sick, you can also register that. And yes, and if you want to make an appointment, for instance, with a study counselor or psychologist, which Þórdís will talk about in a moment, you can go in here, choose the one you want to make an appointment with, and then like I'll put the sorry, Benedict. Here is our counselor, and then you can see when this is our psychologist, and then you can see if you want to book a time with him. And the same goes for the study and work counselors. So, okay, I go back. Is there something I should add to this, Þórdís or Jónadís or Steinunn, regarding Inna? And please note you're all on mute, so you have to unmute yourselves.
Nei, þetta bara mjög fínt.
Okay.
Já.
One note, when your child turns 18, you will lose access to Inna unless they have decided to allow you to follow Inna, and then they have to go into Inna and mark that guardians are allowed to continue logging on. We always advise that if the child is staying at home with his parents, parents in general kind of should maybe have the right to follow what is going on, but it is still up to the student himself if he or she wants to allow their guardians to go into Inna after they are 18. That's when you become independent in Iceland. If the student is, yes, as I said, if he's sick, you can register. The guardians can register if the child is sick in Inna. If you have some problems with the registration, you can also send an email to the school address. And if your child is sick, you can register the day today and 1 day ahead, but not further. And you can register up to 5 days per spun or per half term. But if there are more absence days, you have to contact either the skólastjóri, like the school head, or a counselor. And we do this because we want to, to be able to step in earlier if there is something, if there is long absence or such. So, but you do not have to get like a you don't have to get like this paper from the doctor. We trust you to tell if your child is sick or not. Now I'm gonna give, Þórdís is gonna speak about our support and services or student services. Þórdís, over to you.
Thank you. Good to see you. I can't see many of you. Good to have you here with us tonight. We have quite some support system in Tækniskólinn. We have 4 counselors helping students, 2 of us in Skólavörðuholt, in the building downtown, 1 in the old seamanship house, and 1 in Hafnarfjörður. And we support students with their studies. We answer all kinds of questions about schools in Iceland. We talk to them about the future and what they want to do, and show them the possibilities to help them make decisions, just like you do at home, I assume. We take care of the interest of students in general in the decision making in the school, and I say to the students, and I say it to you, come. There are a lot of people here wanting to help you. Don't go home with your worries. Don't be alone with your questions. Come and ask. No question is stupid. No question is more important than another. And it doesn't matter where you go. You might want to go to your parent, to me, to a teacher you like. Doesn't matter. Just that you go and ask. It's quite difficult for some of them. So that's us, the counselors. You can make an appointment, as Hildur showed us before, on Inna. You can come without your child or with your child and talk to us. Then we have the psychologist, Benedict. He is working in all the 3 houses, and he is a great assistant to us, and it's very good to have to be able to send students to see a psychologist without paying a lot of money. The service is free. And we have a nurse. She's just part-time, but it's also important because she has a good connection into the health system, and we can the students can go to her if they are worried about some health issues, or more whatever, really. She is mostly in Skólaverðarholt in downtown. We have study lab. It's on the 5th floor. If you maybe you have already been in our school, but if you come on Monday, you can take the elevator up to the 5th floor, and up there is the study lab. There students can come. It's quiet. They can come if they have time during the day to work a little bit on their studies and be free in the evening. They can also come there if they have difficulties or anxiety and take their exams in there, where it's quiet and less stressful maybe than in the classroom. And if you are thinking about that kind of service, you can read about it on the website, and you can also contact us, the counselors. We have some peer-to-peer assistance. Most often we get hold of some student that is good in math and good in explaining, and if we find one this semester, he or she will be staying in the study lab 1 time a week. Okay, once a week.
Viltu deila kannski skjánu? You maybe want to share your screen, Þórdís, now, and show on the website where you find the information.
Ég kann það ekki.
Okay, I'll then do it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Oh, how do I get out of this? Let's see. If you go into our website, and I'll share it now, sorry about this. Share like that. If you go into our website, tækniskólinn.is, you will see an Icelandic webpage with all kinds of information, abundance of information and news, and all about the different kinds of academic programs you can take here, courses you can take, our menu, our calendar, etc. We have a part of this in English. Well, you can use Google Translate to change it to English, but you can also push this English button here. It's simpler. We have not translated all our information, but the most important information can be found here. Not all the news, just some news. But if you go in here and you go to student services, and that's what I wanted to show you, you can read more about this. The study lab, extra classes that we sometimes provide in like Icelandic mainly and mathematics, about the supervisory teacher, the counselor services, the school psychologist, the school nurse, etc. There's also, here you can find information about INNA, how to get in there, and the thing I told you about when they turn 18, how to grant next of kin access to INNA. And here you can also read about the sickness absences. We looked at this a moment ago, and there's some information that has to be updated, and it will be done in the next week. For instance, if we look at counselor services, I think we do not have now all the this is not present information, but we will fix it before next week. So please use our website for information, and note that there is much more information on the Icelandic website. I have not tried using Google Translate on it, but we try to put all important information in here. One thing you will see here that was not on the English website is Ný nemavika Tækniskólans, the new student week in Tækniskólinn. And I will show you a slide now about that. Next week, it's the new student or newcomer week. But we try to have a fun week which is oriented at new students. There's a program on the Icelandic website. We'll put it also on the English website hopefully tomorrow, about events that are going on that week. Maybe the main thing to talk about with you now is that on Thursday there is like a school dance, ball, or a rave that will be downtown in the evening of the next Thursday. This is a very traditional Icelandic thing that students are eager to go to when they start this school level. We have sent out information about this and how to get a ticket. The ticket costs 5,000, but please note that if we find it very important that everybody who wants to attend can attend. So if the student or the parents are not able to pay for the ticket, please contact a counselor and they will get a ticket, no worries. On the Friday, we have a new student trip. It's still within Reykjavik, but they will go to kind of a, I wouldn't call it an amusement park, but it's still an amusement park in a sense, in Grafarvogur. There will be a bus going to and from there, from our school buildings. It's the same, it costs 5,000, but we want everybody to come, so talk with, you can also just talk to the supervisory teacher on Monday, or send an email. We will, if we do not want money to be an hindrance to come. There is a parent group that we have just put up this Facebook page for the parents to put in information, and also if you have questions, etc. I will put a link to it in the chat when I've stopped sharing this, and we want good cooperation with you, and we want your involvement as well. So often, like with the study counselors, sometimes a child comes with their parents. It's often very good. We want you to be interested in what your kids are doing and support them, and have good relations. Yes, I'm gonna stop sharing this now. On this dance next Thursday, we advise parents to pick up their children. It's over at 1 o'clock in the evening. We also ask if there are parents who can join us and assist us at the end of the dance. Then you can send an email to lom@tskoli.is. And for the past years, at least since I've been at the school for 5 years, these have been there's nothing bad been going on in these dances. We have teachers in there, we have staff in there, we have tried to make sure that we have very good control and everybody has a happy time. I'm gonna stop sharing this and now we are open for questions, and maybe I will ask, because I know there are a lot of parents in here who have students, have children who are in the Icelandic department, and I maybe ask Jónadís and Steinunn to address you, and if there is something they want to talk about there also, that you see them. Jónadís heads the school, and Steinunn is, what do you call it, like a leader for the Icelandic department. Over to you.
Thank you. But there is a question here. The ball on Thursday, is that going to be alcohol-free? Is someone asking?
Yes, it's alcohol-free. Alcohol is banned, narcotics is banned. Of course, we might have a student who comes in drunk. If we find them drunk, we send them out. We call their parents to pick them up, and we, what do you call it? We look at things. If someone is bringing in a bottle with something, even though they say it's a perfume or something, we remove it. There's no substance allowed in the ball. So it should be alcohol-free. I cannot promise, and there's no alcohol served, of course. And if we find someone to be under the influence, we will call the parent and ask them to pick them up. And this is made very clear to the students.
Okay.
Þú ekki bara kynna þig, Jónadís, aðeins og Steinunn?
Yeah, okay. My name is Jónadís, and as Hildur said, I'm the head of the general study in Tækniskólinn, and also there are these Íslenskubraut, where we are teaching Icelandic as a second language, and then we have this K2, that is 3 years program, and special education for students that need special education. And before I went to this job, I was teaching in Íslenskubraut for a long time, so I know this very well. Over to you, Steinunn.
Thank you. Yes, hello, I am Steinunn and I supervise the Íslenskubraut, the Icelandic Department for Foreigners, and I also teach. I have nothing to add, but I do encourage you to come with your children on Monday to the Hvað group. It would be really nice to see you there. I'm finished.
Yes, there is a question if there is a chess club organized in the school for students. We have actually quite a lot of all kinds of clubs. They can vary from year to year, and it depends a little bit on the interest of the students. But we have club evenings on, isn't it Wednesdays? At Háteigsvegur, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Wednesdays.
Wednesdays on Háteigsvegur. There are all kinds of clubs to play cards or play music, etc. If they are interested in playing chess, we can make a chess club. I think it's been kind of on and off depending on, but we can very often see students playing chess up in the library. So our social life support is that if we have some students who want to make a club, we help them make it. So, but it is not an organized club with a trainer or anything like that. It's more like students who have the same kind of interest can meet up. I have a question. I saw the timetable of my son and there are so little classes, don't understand why. It's now, please, má ég láta senda þig Þórdís?
Já, íslensku braut?
Tatjana, is your student in the Icelandic, no, your child in the Icelandic department or some other department?
No, in húsgagnasmíði.
Sorry?
Smíði. Húsgagnasmíði. Húsgagnasmíði.
Okay. Send me the name of the student to this address that I am putting here in the message, the name and the kennitala, and I will contact the school head to assist you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have any questions, you are free to send us email. I will put my email here. It is not possible to try to call me because I'm not answering phone. But I answer the email really quickly. So please do that if you have any question or anything that you are thinking of.
And we just really emphasize, if you need or your child needs some sort of assistance, contact us sooner than later. There are a lot of people here that are willing to help. We really want your kids to do well at school. We want them also to feel well at school, that they are comfortable, that they can be themselves, and if they are not feeling well at school or they're having some problems, please come and talk to us and we will try to assist. Any more questions? If not, I just want to stay at the end. Thank you for coming, and I also want to say we have had really good first days of school. I think everybody agrees that they have seldom seen such a, I don't know, concentrated, good group of young people who seem willing to work and eager to learn. And it's been a very, we almost think it's too good to be true. They are so well behaved, most of them. So hopefully they will enjoy their time at our school and prepare for a good future. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm gonna turn off the recording.